Hey everyone, welcome back to Gaming in the Keats. I'm your host Chris, and I'm bringing you the round one of the Titans Winter Clash. It's a one-day event that I'm participating in at the Titan Games and Hobbies in Timonium, Maryland, and I'm up against Warriors of the Dark Gods. So, yeah, right now I am in my happy place. I'm making a battle report. Just got off work and I'm decompressing the fuck out of work. So, yeah, uh, I'm excited to show you all the lists and see what you think. Okay, going over my list. If you can always check out the list review for the event, the live stream that we did, which goes over the list in more detail. But for this first battle report, I'll get into it. Why not? So we just have a Chariot Prince with multi wounds 2 and hatred on a great weapon in the first round of combat. 1 up, 5 up against range, 2 up, 5 up in melee, and then a 3 up Aegis in against flaming with a potion of healing, so effectively, giving her 5 wounds. And she's also a battle line hero, so we're getting that nice 18-inch Courage 10 aura. Next up, we got little investment in magic. An Exarch just with 3 spells, Molten Copper, Corruption of Tin, Living Steel. And I gave her Kingslayer on the spear just because it's the cheapest option. And actually, she can. It's pretty nice having Kingslayer on a spear with her. So she's surprisingly. She can surprisingly do the business if she doesn't die. So we also have a nice bounce spell in here, Siren Scale. This is great to have as a bounce spell. It's just power level 3, -1 resilience, and pairs nicely with a lot of just the other tough decisions spells that my opponents have to kind of figure out what to stop. So we got 34 spears with the Sheltering Standard, 14 Corsairs with the Banner of Orlane. I like this build a lot. This is pretty fun. It makes them surprisingly offensive if I choose to use them in such a way, because it gives them +1 attack, well, devastating charge, +1 attack, and then you're like, oh well, it's still only strength 3, but then you start to compound some of the magic that I can get off, and then all of a sudden can become like, all right, AP1, and then maybe AP2, and then maybe -1 resilience, depending on what my opponent chooses to stop. So the Corsairs can actually put out quite a lot of damage, and they have a stand and shoot, which is pretty sweet. Their -1 courage thing just never came into effect this whole tournament, so yeah, spoiler alert. 10 auxiliaries just for another scoring unit and some more ranged anti-chaff goodness for Gorgons, because you can take 4. That's awesome. They're great. I love them. 15 Obsidian Guard, again with the Banner of Orlane. 6 Dread Acolytes, again putting out just lots of attacks and hoping to use magic to make those attacks just hit and wound even more potently. Divine Altar of Yema, so I get the +1 mobility, and the Devastating Charge Strider, which that rule will actually come up in this tournament. My opponent and I had some confusion about it, but we'll get into that later. 2 Hunting Chariots for some more ranged pressure, board control, and chaff if need be, and also combo charges. Like, these guys are, again, like a fun little utility unit that I've been enjoying to use. And they proc, Dia Warfare, so if they combo charge with the Spears or the Obsidian Guard, then the Spears and Obsidian Guard get reroll charge. Or not reroll charge, maximize charge. The Miss Leviathan, of course, is just there to, help cover my ass from shooting and to get in the way. And then, of course, if you play it next to the altar, it can now march 16, which is pretty sweet. Going over my opponent's list, we got a Sorcerer on a War Dice, Master of Alchemy, basically taking everything but the wall. And I forgot what he dropped for the Hereditary. He took the Hereditary in there as well. He also has Gladiator Spirit, paired weapons, and the Veilgate Orb, so he can, once per game, he can pick up his own unit and just teleport it, which, it's so annoying. We also got, like, the Cannonball Lord, so it's the Glory Hunter, which is cool, so he has to issue a challenge, and when you issue the challenge, if you killed the last health point, either of you, then you get, you count as completing the secondary. He's gluttony, so if he wins a combat, he's +1 strength. So he's got the burning portent, so the whole Fleming attacks with D3 wounds, potion of swiftness, because that's annoying. But he's only on Destiny's Call, so he's actually a little fragile. 20 warriors with pride, great weapons, so they're the minimized leadership. No, wait. Yes. They're minimalized leadership. Then we got 2 units of 8 Warhounds. We got 2, and then we have 3 units of Chosen. Envy gives them maximized charges, and then Gluttony gives them again +1 strength if they win a combat. So that's nice. So we know where the Chosen Lord is going. And then we got a Helmaw to teleport those Chosen units all over the battlefield. Yay! Alright, so map is map 2, Ancient Fortifications with an Arcane Ruin in the center. Deployment is Frontline Clash, so 12 inches up and then 6 inches pinched in. The secondary for me was Capture the Flag, so I have to have more flags on the field than my opponent. The secondary for my opponent was Demonstrate Superiority, so he's got to kill 2 of my, either one of my 2 most expensive scoring units. So that is either the Spears or the Obsidian Guard. So he has to get one of those 2 units. In terms of actual deployment, my opponent rolled and made me choose sides so they could drop to get first. So I just chose this side with the hill. So I'm the defender. My turn chooses to be the attacker. And so, yeah. That's unfortunate that I did not get first turn, but there you have it. So matchup analysis, I have this as an orange on paper, but I also have it as unstable because my opponent's list really is based upon combat, and combat can always be swingy because the more dice you have to roll, the more there's more chances for randomness. So my opponent already has the advantage on the primary and the secondary because all he needs to do is take out the Obsidian Guard, which that's pretty easy to do. And his primary is the primaries hold the center, so he can really just bogart the center with the Chosen and the warriors, and it will be very hard for me to kind of push that position. And a Master of Alchemy is not a good matchup for me. I do have things with metal armor, like the Obsidian Gun, for example, hurt. Those ranged damage spells. Even if I don't have metal armor, he's still taking off little, health points of my units, which I have, a lot of multiple small units, so it matters to me. I would love to be able to go first, but I didn't. In order to use my ranged damage, I think that would have given me a slight more of an advantage. And my goal here for the macro side of things is I need to be able to take on those Chosen units one at a time with my combo charges effectively. My list, I think, on paper can outmaneuver his just with the movement and the amount of kind of light troops I have and charge threats I have. But you never quite know. It's also it can be very challenging to accommodate for the portals with the Helmaw. So he will be able to teleport them around the map if he needs to. But it really is dependent on where he puts them to see if they can actually make an impact. And so, like I said earlier, I have to be able to find ways to isolate the Chosen units and hope I get the matchup here. So going into the micro, hoping I get the matchup with the Chariot Prince into his Chosen Lord. If I can get the charge, I think that my Chariot Prince wins that fight. but it is dependent upon me making those 3-up Aegis saves against his flaming attacks if he pops his Potion of Swiftness. The Acolytes don't really have a good game or a good match this round. Their job right now for me is to like combo with something to take out the Helmaw. That's really what I'm using them for. I think the Gorgons can actually grind with the Chosen, and I'm saying that because throughout this whole game, I think both my opponent and I were playing with the perspective that Chosen in the previous hotfix, I think they were still agility 6 with 3 attack space, and they have extra support 3. However, I checked when I was just looking up just the Warriors of the Dark Arts after the game, because why I didn't do it beforehand, that's my fault. But Chosen actually got a nerf. They are only agility 5 now with 2 attack space. And so therefore, I think the Gorgons can actually grind with them a lot better. Same with the Obsidian Guard if I charge in. I think the Obsidian Guard had the potential to trade decently with magic support if I'm the one who's charging. So I just need to be conscious. Micro stuff, I just need to be conscious of the Helmaw teleport, like where those tokens are, and just kind of figure out, like, okay, where my opponent can go. Like, I just have to plan very carefully with that. And so I'm, stealing a note from Proxy Table Gaming. I'm taking a picture of my army. It's unfortunately, this has been an army just years in the making, and I also use models across armies too. As you can see, my Gorgons are also, they serve for like Clawed Fiends or Hoarders in my Demon army, and she is, of course, has been my Courtesan. She's been my Scourge. But right now today, Marathi is my Chariot Prince. So hopefully she can do some good things. So we got the Chariot Prince. We got Hunting Chariot number 1 that's fully painted. Unfortunately, I did not get my other Hunting Chariot in time painted up, so I'm proxying one of my bolt throwers on a 50. We got 10 auxiliaries here. We got the 15 Obsidian Guard. We got Mr. Cuddles 2. The Mist Leviathan. So this Kraken right now is standing in for a Mist Leviathan. We got the spears here with the Altar of Yema. We have a Magnetized Medusa on there, which is pretty fun. We got the 14 Corsairs. We got 6 Acolytes with their nice little banner. And yeah, that is my army. Feel free to pause and take a look. Alright, in deployment, I got to choose sides, so I'll go from my left to right. We got Corsairs, we have the Mist Leviathan, Obsidian Guard, Spears, little unit of auxiliaries, Chariot Prince, Hunting Chariot number 1, Gorgons, Hunting Chariot number 2, and this unit of Acolytes, and as the defender, I will Vanguard them 3 inches this way. On my opponent's left to right, we got Dogs, Envy Chosen, Pride Warriors with the War Deus, Gluttony Chosen with the Cannonball Lord who's right there, a Helmaw, another unit of Dogs, and then another unit of Envy Chosen to round it out. Warriors of the Dark Gods, turn 1, my opponent pushes up, just right outside the Mystic Ruins, respecting all my charge ranges here, trying not to give me charges. You can see my Acolytes have indeed Vanguarded. No teleporting shenanigans yet. You can see a token here, a token over here, and then for my opponent's third token that he places down, he puts one right here in the center of my lines. Awesome. That's going to be great. As you can already see, I'm looking at this. I'm really not happy with how I approached this deployment. I think I should have been a bit more skewed to this left side and push the weak side here. Because we have 2 units of Chosen versus just the 1 units of Chosen I'm dealing with. I think that should have been my goal. Yes, my opponent, of course, can teleport the other Chosen around, but this way I can mitigate where they may be going. I mean, you never know. If your opponent can just place it 24 inches, with the Hellmaw, it's like you still get a lot of interesting control. And now with reading the Hellmaw rules, literally my opponent, as long as he's within 9 inches of this Hellmaw, he can just pick up a unit and just put it here. That's insanely good. That is so good. I was like, oh god, that's gonna be tough. So magic, I stop Hellfire, but my opponent does get off another magic missile and puts a few wounds on the Obsidian Guard. And other than that, let's go into my turn 1. So, my turn 1, I move up with the Acolytes as so to get some nice charges off if my opponent allows them. And I'm just saying, screw this token, I don't care. I get everything within 18 inches for shooting purposes. I'm kind of, like I said, I need to be a bit more skewed deployment-wise to the left because I'm bottlenecking myself a little bit here with this terrain. I think I have it so that the chariot can come within an inch and charge out, but it's still a little awkward for me. So, and then, again, this is what's so awesome about these Corsairs and being within 12 inches of the Altar of Ymir. With the light troops, I'm able to swing them out wide outside of this line of sight. Now, granted, I'm not within 12 to be able to shoot, but just having that mobility turn 1 with this unit here is just freaking fantastic. So that was just amazing to be able to do that. So otherwise, I'm pushing up as well. I'm outside of 15 from any potential charges here. This little chosen unit is, and now keep in mind, I'm going into this thinking like these chosen have 3 attacks each. So I'm just like kicking myself real hard for not learning my opponent's rule or not looking at the changes, like the most recent hotfix change. And in the rulebook before this match. I'm just so angry with myself. But anyway, that is what it is. And here's a cheeky move I did. I decided, you know what? I'm just going to put this Miss Leviathan right on top of that portal, so you can blow it up, but nothing else is within 3 inches of it. The Miss Leviathan's covering it. And it has 9 wounds, and the Miss Leviathan is there to die for the cause anyway. So Mr. Cuddles 2 is doing a great job. So let's go into shooting. So magic, my opponent stops my hereditary, my opponent stops the, I fail to cast -1 armor, the small one. My opponent stops -1 resilience, and then I get through my hereditary. This little token right here is counting as my hereditary token. And so now with shooting with the chariot, and I put the auxiliaries within range as well, I am able to shoot and kill 2 chosen here from the gluttony, and put another wound on this chosen. And cheekily enough, this chosen lord has lost its swift stride because it got hit by a hunting chariot. Alright, so my opponent's turn 2 moves up slightly. When he went into the ruins here, we rolled the booby trap one, so he took some damage from this, and then rolled and then it's I think foresight, the divination bound right here. So my opponent took actually some wounds, which is kind of interesting. Opponent backs off with the dogs to put me within line of sight in case I try to charge and do a failed charge. Here you can see he teleported the chosen unit right here, which I'm actually fine with because at least it takes one chosen unit kind of out of the game. I do have a way to get around this right here. So he is pressuring my right side, but it does affect my next turn decisions on what I do, but it's not the end of the world yet. Magic, I stop a molten copper on the obsidian yard. My opponent gets off a hellfire on the auxiliaries and kills 5 of them. And so that is it here. As it from my opponent's magic phase here. So my turn 2, I do as you see. So no charges. Now the Miss Leviathan, Mr. Cuddles, comes right on over to chaff the chosen unit right here. Everything is in the front. I'm not giving a 12-inch overrun with the Gorgons. I do move the chariot up. This is probably one of my first mistakes here. I do move the chariot up. Really, I know that he can charge with the dogs. My goal is to flee, and then, unfortunately, either I flee or I just take it, depending on like what the flee path is, because I don't want to slingshot these guys over. It just depends on that flee path. But anyway, so I move the chariot up. I'm going to continue to pepper this chosen unit here. I move up the auxiliaries. Here's again a mistake I made. I'm just like right outside of 9 inches with this spear unit. Trying to respect the charge range of the chosen. That was the issue I was facing. I couldn't advance too far because otherwise I'd put me within charge range of these chosen. Now knowing that they only have 2 attacks, and yeah, I think I just have to like risk a 6 here, or like maybe risk a 6 here, or risk something here, to get at least 1 unit within range, one of my scoring unit within range of the objective. So this was just a poor play on my part. And then, yes, in magic and shooting, I'm able to get another token off here, and I'm able to kill, I think, 1, if not 2 more chosen. I think it's possible I kill 2. We'll have to see. And then, as you can see, I've moved the acolytes right here, because guess who they're going for? They're going for Mr. Helma. So, yeah, that's how we see it here. So my opponent's turns 3. Here's where we start to get some general rules wrong in this game. So, and this is both of our faults. Like, this isn't one of us. This was both of us. So basically, we could have just looked this up. Oh my god. But essentially, I think we played the game with the assumption that we score the points at the beginning, from 3 to 6, which is just not correct. That's just wrong. But I think both of us like played with that mindset throughout the game, which kind of affects our decisions. And then, so here's what happens. This is wild. Chosen Lord decides he had a slight angle. He could. Now this is as far as the Mist Leviathan could get. And so my opponent could see the hunting chariot. The Chosen Lord charges the hunting chariot, and I choose to flee. And this way, at least this path actually takes it right in front of this chosen unit. So effectively, it's sort of chaff, but no, he can still overrun if he wanted to. He brings up the dogs like so to chaff the Gorgons. Helma comes to face the acolytes. And here's what's weird. This is where I think we got something else actually pretty wrong too. So my opponent fails the command test to redirect with the Chosen Lord. So because the way that we played it, he had fly. He just fails 4 inches and clears the Leviathan out this way. I think this is wrong. Comment below if this is actually correct, because I talked to the tournament organizer about this afterwards, James, just because I had no idea in the moment. But I think actually this is just considered a failed charge, and the whole unit is just stuck there, and the Chosen Lord has to stay in the unit. So now that he's out, that's just like, it's just a whole lot of weird. So, but maybe he can clear that. I don't know. Like, I really don't know. So definitely, please comment if this is correct or not. But I think this is wrong. He moves into the ruins here. I think it takes 1 or 2 more booby trap ruins. He chaffs with his dogs here. Chaffs the obsidian guard and the spears, which is annoying. And then this is where I chose to purposely flee. Now I do know that the Corsairs have a stand and shoot. Oh yes, I did forget to mention my shooting in my previous turn. I did kill a few chosen here, which is pretty nice with the Corsairs. But so this time I actually chose to flee, and my thinking here was just to pull him away from the objective so I can isolate chosen units. Like, this was my thinking, but unfortunately the Corsairs roll like a 3. So now he can just hit them and reform, which is so annoying. Like, I just need the Corsairs to, like, roll better, guys. Like, get away. So it would pull him out of position, and then I'd have a nice juicy flank with the Obsidian Guard on the Chosen. But they did not. They tripped and fell. In my opponent's oh yes, and then sorry, another thing. This was another thing we got wrong, I think. I'm not sure though. I'm not 100% sure, but so my opponent charges the warriors into the auxiliaries. I choose to flee. I flee from my units. We're all good. And then when it goes into my opponent's magic phase, he then informs me, he's like, well, I can't cast magic because I failed a charge, and technically a unit that is failing a charge is shaken, so therefore you can't cast magic. And like, we talked to multiple people about this, and everyone was kind of in agreement, but scratching our heads of like, why is that a thing? So yeah, again, comment, is this correct? Is this I haven't looked it up yet. I'm actually letting the comment sections be an active section and trying to do that and encourage that instead of just tell you the answer. But yeah, so we played it like that. My opponent didn't have a magic phase. And then, of course, because these are fleeing units, we remove the chariot and we remove the Corsairs, and my opponent reforms. Alright, so my turn 3, I do some charges. So the Mist Leviathan flies and combo charges in with the Acolytes into this Hellmaw. I don't think I can kill it in one round, but I'm hoping to do enough to crumble it. It has 6 wounds, but we'll see. I was so gutted by this. Since this guy was out, for a second I got really excited that I could countercharge it, but no, my Mist Leviathan was blocking line of sight from my chariot, so I couldn't actually see this guy at all. So, but what I could see was this chosen unit here, and now I'm like, okay, here's my chance. I can break through this chosen unit. Let's go. I'm excited. I want to see what this Chariot Prince can do with the multi-wounds, impact hits. I'm devastating charge Strider. Like, let's go. The character's not in there, which is, I mean, either way, if the character was in there, I still would have done it. But, like, I want to see what this Chariot Prince can do. Gorgon's Charge Chaff, and then Spear's Charge Chaff. In the magic phase, I do get off a Hereditary and a -1 Resilience on the Chosen, I believe, here. And my opponent stops the regular -1 armor on the Chosen. So, let's go into combat. So here's where the tale of woe begins. So let's look at the Leviathan and Acolyte picture first. This is after combat. So I was so gutted by this. Like, I rolled, I was hitting on 2s, wounding on 5s with the Acolytes with 24 attacks. They do like 1 wound. Like, I just rolled pitifully to wound. I rolled great to hit. I think I dropped like just a couple of dice, but rolled like 1-5 out of all of the. I was just like, oh crap. And then the Leviathan might have snuck a wound in there too. And like, I have a charge, flank, banner. He kills 2 back in return, and he makes his leadership check, and we're now all just stuck there. That was frustrating. And to make matters worse, let's go to the next picture. Okay, So, Chariot fluffs a bit here. I roll 1 on the impact hits. I think the Lord herself, she kills 1 maybe. Like, oh my god, I rolled poor. I rolled terribly. Oh no, sorry, not -1 resilience here. You can see a double -1 armor. So I just fluff a bit with the chariot, but what I least importantly do, I think a raptor snuck a wound through here too. Good job. What I importantly do is break their solid, and he breaks and runs, and I roll like triple 2s to catch him, and I fail to catch. And this is where we had another rules question, which was confusing for the Altar of Yema. So, because of the new hotfix wording of devastating charge, like, my opponent and I decided to play it as if the chariot still has to take DTs, because had I connected the charge, I count as charging. In this case, I do not. And I'm outside of the 12-inch aura. So I took DTs, and guess what I rolled for DTs? 3 6s. Crap. Again, I don't know if that's correct or not. I talked to, again, someone who was like designing the book about this, and they're like, no, that shouldn't have happened. Like, the intention is that you get it throughout the entire phase, that you get the Strider throughout the entire phase, regardless of what moves you're making. But I mean, like, when my opponent and I were discussing it, we played it as written, and it was, yeah. So that's how we did it, and I think that's wrong, and I'm penalized for that. So there you have it. Again, comment if you know the answer to that one. Okay, so turn 4. Here we go. Obviously, the Gorgons got rid of the chaff in the previous round, so the Warriors and the Chosen Lord charge into the Gorgons here. We'll see how that goes. I'm not hopeful, but I'm hoping I can stick around for like maybe 1 or 2 rounds of combat. Then you can see these Chosen charge my Chaffing Chariot that did a wound last turn. And yeah, and then of course his Chosen rally here to just, give me the middle finger. In the magic phase, my opponent is able to force through both a Word of Iron and a +1 to hit on this unit, so I'm just like, oh crap. And then first combat, I do a wound. He kills 2 more acolytes. He makes his break check, no problem. I'm like slowly losing this grind. Oh crap. So this was also interesting. I do a wound to the Chosen Lord. I think I made a mistake with attack allocation here as well. I was trying to snipe this guy on the War Deus, but I just should have been trying to go after these warriors at this rate. I would have been, yeah, I think it would have just helped, because it would have started to take models away, like from potentially him scoring the primary 2, or like potentially whittling this unit down instead of going after this character. I just got a bit greedy and tried to just put all my attacks onto the character, and I only did 1 wound, which was frustrating. But the Chosen Lord, he actually whiffs. I make my Aegis saves against him, and he only sneaks through 1 wound. And then the Warriors, again, this is kind of a whiff fest, even with the +1 to hit. This is wild. I lose another Gorgon, but then, I stick around on a Courage 10, so this is actually going, like, interestingly well. So I'm starting to get a little desperate here. In the previous turn, I deduced that I just didn't have the movement to put this unit here, as you see, the auxiliaries, to get within 9 inches after they had fled, even with the +1 mobility. after the reform, and so I decided to then just march them and put them in front of the chosen here. So that was just a bummer. And then here, so here's what's interesting. I charged both the Obsidian Guard and the Spears into the chosen, and they both get maximized charge, and the Obsidian Guard make it. Now, granted, they both needed a 6, and I was really hoping that I would have rolled a 6 with the Spears, but the Obsidian Guard are the ones who made it in. So, but, and then, again, here's where we just played this wrong. I think. I don't know. Yet, at least. So after I failed this charge, we played it as if I didn't have a magic phase, because I was shaken after failing a charge, and I guess you can't cast spells when you're shaken, so that's how we played it. So that was a bummer. I really could have used magic support here. Oh, and as you can see here, I used a healing potion to heal the wound back. This time I just said, fuck it, I'm going to charge back in again. I don't take any DTs. This time, actually, I'm not within 12 inches, so it was a bit risky, but screw it. I was just, like, so angry. And so I just charged back in, and I'm like, all right, I need to fucking kill this unit. Because it's, like, you know, and then it's scoring my opponent's objective. My opponent has a point here already with the objective, and then guess what? As you can imagine, the spears, we measured it, like, multiple times. They were, like, a millimeter after failing that charge. A literal millimeter outside of 9 inches, so I just don't get this damn objective again. Like, oh my god. So, close combat. Gorgons now start to get whittled down. But this is after combat, so I am able to sneak another wound through on the Chosen Lord, but, again, I try and go after this War Deus, I just don't do anything, which was a mistake. Some Petrifying Stares, I think, do kill a couple more warriors, and then all in all, I do fail my leadership check, but I lost by 1, so I only crumble 1 at the end of everything said and done. I think. I don't know. Yeah, because I think I actually did pretty well now looking at it. Because this is after combat for sure. I'm not 100% sure what happened, but this is how it stands. So I'm like just hoping that this guy just fluffs again, and like I can just get that final Petrifying Stare off. And then over here, I do 6 wounds to him. He does 6 wounds to me. I had a charge, 2 ranks, and a banner. He just had a rank and a banner. And let's see. So he makes his break check. So now I think I'm going to lose the Obsidian Guard and now just lose my secondary. So that's not great. But again, I think we were playing this with the Chosen having 3 attacks per model. So only losing 6, like he didn't roll, my opponent whiffed in terms of rolling to hit. Like, oh man. Now, granted, this probably was the same outcome with, like, if he only had 2 attacks, but now the Obsidian Guard are actually going first, because now Chosen are only Agility 5, and their Obsidian Guard are base 6, so something might be able to happen here, but we didn't play that way. We played it as simultaneous. So, again, we just played this unit wrong. And this just pissed me off. Alright, so I kill 3 dudes, and homeboy sticks on like a 3. Oh my god. Like this damn Chosen unit. I just needed him to frickin' just break so he'd be decimated so I could just turn the chariot around. But no, he fucking stuck. God damn it. Oh, that was so annoying. And then to make matters worse, he kills the Acolytes. I do like a wound again. I'm just like losing this grind. Like, it's just not good with this Helmaw. So this is just, turn 5 in close combat because all of my opponent's units are like effectively in close combat, aside from that one chosen unit at the bottom. Obviously they go and kill my auxiliaries easy. So here's the picture of my opponent, killing the last Gorgon and reforming to face. No, I did not get that last wound off, so this guy still has a wound left on him. The Obsidian Guard, of course, are dealt with. I only do... Yeah, I, kill a model and do a wound. So, that was a bummer. Okay, yeah, so excuse me. So, first of all, I have one wound left, or I have one model left here. Yep. And then this is the thing that was even more embarrassing. I fail to kill this guy. I do a wound. He actually, to insult to injury, does a wound back to me and has a banner. And I actually lose this combat. What is happening? Oh my god. So, yeah, I lost the combat. And thankfully, I stick on a 9. Oh my god. So, I'm just trying to get points at this rate where I can. I'm bleeding points. I'm running out of units. And my Chariot Prince is just not in a good state. And, I can't flee because if I do flee from any impending charge, I'm decimated, so I'll die anyway. Yeah, so I charge the spears. Charge the spears into the Chosen, and then we're all sticking around here. I couldn't tell you what, I think I get, oh yes, my opponent stops all the necessary spells, but I do get a +1 to hit on my Chariot Prince, just waiting for the charge. Yeah. Alright, so I killed the Chosen. Good job, spears. They did their job. And then I reformed them to face into the center. You can see a few more wounds have been put on the damn Helmaw, but it's on one wound left. And, surprise, it kills my Acolyte, so it gets my flag there. And gets the points for them. And then the Chariot. You want to know who killed the damn, or put the damn last wound on that Chosen model? The fucking Raptor did it. I fucking whiffed again. Failing to hit and failing to wound. Oh my god. And the Raptor snuck the last wound through. Wow. And we're talking failing to hit with +1 to hit. And hitting on 3s, wounding on 2s. Oh, that was so... I was just I can't believe this. So naturally, my opponent charged his Chosen Lord into my Lord. I'm just crossing my fingers that I can make a damn Aegis save, the flaming Aegis saves. So, yeah. And of course, you see me, I reformed the Leviathan to get over to this side of the model. So, yeah, and then the worst part is, in Magic, my opponent gets 666 and a 5 to miscast, a +1 to hit on this guy. Nothing bad happens from the miscast. I just can't stop it. So it's not looking great, but yep, I fail my Aegis save, and he puts the last wound onto the Chariot Prince. Ugh, gosh, I was gutted. I was absolutely gutted. So, but c'est la vie. Oh, and guess who survived another round of combat? Mr. fucking Helmaw. So, my last round, my opponent overran with the Chosen Lord, and guess what? He's 1 inch outside of 15 inches to even make it a possible charge from the spears. So, yeah. So we're just going to see if I can even, kill this damn Helmaw. And kill it we do. God damn it. The Kraken, well, I shouldn't say Kraken, excuse me. Mr. Cuddles 2 finally sneaks the last wound onto the Helma. And that, my friends, is the end of the game. Whew. Take a deep breath. Okay, so that's a victory, obviously, for the Warrior of the Dark Gods. I got a total of 1628 to my opponent's 2627. My opponent did get the primary. Yeah, and then my opponent was able to also get their secondary, and I was not able to get mine. Because I only had the spears left, and then my opponent still had a unit of Chosen and the warriors left. So we played all of our rounds, so it was a 17-3, and then with all the bonuses for primary and secondary, it was a 7-13, and then with all the bonuses, it became a 17-3. So great game, Ben. Well played. Nicely done. That was a lot of fun. It was very stressful as well as I saw all my plans in the game just start to crumble and fall apart. But yeah, let's get into it more in post thoughts. Alright, so the post game thoughts. I did not play the primary well. Regardless of however we played it, I still didn't give myself a good chance to win it, or to at least tie it. That was just not well done by me. I could have just planned a bit more ahead, with the 9 inches, just with a bit more movement, putting myself in that position. I just didn't play it well. And like I said earlier in the battle report, I think I needed to have skewed my deployment just a bit more, in order to kind of focus on the one side and kind of push through from that left side. I think I would have had a bit more of a chance. Still having, I think, the chariot kind of central to keep the Chosen Lord honest, and as well as the Gorgons. I'm happy about where they were. It was more of just where my scoring was, instead of being directly across. And so just measuring for that. And then, yeah, let's just be real, guys. We just misplayed a lot of rules. I mean, yes, there's a lot of changes going on, and we can't catch everything that's happening in time. But that's just on us. It's both of us. And I'm gonna call myself out on this. I did not prepare for this event nearly as much as I should have with the changes. That's just on me. And you know what? I really need to set a resolution for myself to actually have a study day and go through, let's do some reactive reading here. Let's go through and really sit down with the newest changes once they're all set, and go through, and especially go through the lists once I'm in the next event. Go through the lists and actually take solid notes on this. And know what the army does, know what your opponent's stats are. Don't just go off of what you remember, because things change, and that's how that happens. So, micro stuff. I was happy with that decision to charge the chariot and the Miss Leviathan and the Helma. That's what they were going to do. That was the whole point. It just didn't pan out. I think I must admit, I think I got a bit unlucky there, in that whole scenario. But, oh well. Yeah, it would have been great to have used magic, on the turn I charged with the Obsidian Guard, just to really help them out. That would have been fantastic. Then I was making all those small movement mistakes with the spears, just having them be literally right outside the 9 inches to at least give myself a freaking chance. Or again with the auxiliaries, just playing that center, just making some mistakes in my movement in the center was just rough. And then what do I say? The Chariot Prince and the Acolytes specifically, just the continued Whale of Woe, I guess. They just didn't do well this game. And then they ate it, and there you go. That was a bummer. And then let's see what else. Oh yeah, the rules issue with the devastating charge thing, that was so confusing. We played it safe and I took the DTs, but as you can see, it made a difference. Like having those two extra wounds just would have meant that the chariot would have had a chance to survive the Chosen Lord charge and then, punk him back in return, hopefully, if I had like hit the damn guy. Um, but no, I didn't even have a chance after I failed the Aegis save. So, and that was the flaming Aegis save too. That's why he has the damn item. 3-up Aegis. It's good until you don't roll it, I guess. Whatever. So yeah, there's just like that. I want to, again, I was speaking with James, who helped design the rules for that banner, and I guess we're still trying to actually find out more clarity on that one, because I don't think we have 100% clarity on that rule yet. But hey, that's why we play these games. We test them out and we figure it out, and hopefully give feedback to everyone involved, and the changes will be made. Alright, everyone, thanks again for watching. I'm so happy that you've made it this far. Good job, good for you. Like and subscribe if you are definitely feeling a chosen of the dark gods. Congratulations to my opponent Ben for a big win. And yeah, I'll catch y'all in round 2. Ciao, ciao for now, y'all.